We're continuing the series of Pirkei Avot. This is number 12 today, the 12th lecture. And as you know already, we're starting as of now, an hour ago, we started Rosh Chodesh Elul. It's the month of Elul started. We have 30 days to the judgment days, the most critical 30 days of the year. As we're going closer and closer to Rosh Hashanah, now it's the time to start correcting, which means if we owe money, it's now time to pay back to friends, to relatives, what loans that we took. If we stole money, now it's time to return it. If you don't have the money to return, at least to call these people and tell them, I know I owe you such and such. I don't have it right now. Let me give you 5% down. Let me give you 10%, whatever you can afford. The rest I'll give you next month. And in 2 months, make some kind of things to satisfy the person. Because if you enter the trial and there are people sitting and cursing you at home and upsetting at you for what you did to them, your chances to succeed is very, very low. But if you're okay with everyone, even if you owe them, but they're okay with you because you started to pay and they relaxed a little bit, then it's already a big achievement. Anyway, as you can see, there's a major, huge anger of Hashem on the world. What's going on? The flood in the Gulf with all the leak of the oil. Russia is burning. Thousands of acres in Russia are burning, houses. It get to a point that they lost control on the fire. They had to dig a tunnel around the nuclear facility. Why? Because they already know they cannot put the fire off. And if they won't make a tunnel, you know what it is to make a tunnel around a big place like this? You need hundreds of tractors to dig. Why? Because to stop the fire. Because if not, the whole thing will go on fire and burn the entire area there. So it's problems. Problems everywhere. In Israel there's a lot of fires, a lot of anger on the world. The economy here is not going any better. As they fool the people for a few months, 6 months, they put a lot of money into the market to make it look like economy is going to be better. This money is running out. They call it now a second wave of recession. But we know that it's no second and no baloney. It's the same one. It's just you take a dead person and you give him some kind of artificial reviving equipment. You keep him alive for 2-3 more days, but then he's a dead person. As soon as you disconnect the oxygen, he's dead. You know, that's what the mechanics do when they want to sell a car with a dead engine. They have a trick to make it drive another day or two, putting something in the engine when actually it's finished, and it looks that it drives okay, but then 2 days later the engine dies. You know, so this is it. Now we going back to what we started. We are 4.5 chapters, it's behind us. We finished 4.5 chapters, it's 6 chapters altogether, so Bezrat Hashem there's a chance to finish the 5th chapter, and then we have 1 more chapter left. Last week we finished with speaking about tragedies who comes to the world for what? We spoke about 7 different tragedies that come for 7 different kinds of sins. People give 10%, they don't give 10% from the wheat. And we spoke about that subject. And today I will continue, Be'ezrat Hashem, with where we stopped last week. And this is Mishnah, the 9th Mishnah. Chaya ra'a ba la'olam, animals attacking people. There's tragedies that connects to animals. Today it's not so common that you have animals that are attacking people. In the old days it used to be a very common thing. Why? The world was mostly desert or forest. We come in America, everywhere you go, New York City, Brooklyn, Queens, Israel, Europe, it's all built up areas, building and houses, but they knock down all the trees. There were millions and millions of trees. It was jungles, forests. They knocked down the trees and they built houses and they made highways. So the animals were pushed another 10 miles and another 10 miles, and they go into concentrate areas. Like in upstate New York, there's a lot of bears. Sometimes the bears, they get confused. They get stuck in a city. All of a sudden, in months, you see a bear walking in a parking lot of a supermarket. He climbed on a tree and they shot him 2 years ago. But in the old days, the animals and the people were very close one to another. You walk out of your area, it's so many trees or deserts, there's so many animals out there. As soon as you walk to an area, remember, there was no lights, the animals controlling. So there were a lot of attacks that animals used to attack people. When does animals get permission to attack people? That's what the Mishnah is speaking about. Al shvuat shav. For too many people swearing in the name of Hashem for false testimony. Either a witness or a defendant, when they make him hold the Torah and swear, they swear. Why? Just not to go to jail or not to get killed or anything like that, they swear. This is one reason. The next reason is Chilul Hashem. Chilul Hashem. Chilul Hashem means that you, by your behaving, making bad reputation to Judaism. Judaism is the masterpiece of the creator of the world. He made it, he wrote it, he gave the Torah. And you have obligations to keep, and you ignore it, or you behave the opposite of what you required. And the Goyim and other Jews that looks at you and say, hey, this is their religion, this is how an observant Jew has to be, so that means it's all baloney. What Torah? What? The religious people, they steal, they curse, they cheat, they don't have mercy in the business. I owe them money, they threaten me like a gangster. Where is this Torah? What's going on here? Right? So when people see that religious people behave like this, it makes bad reputation. The people who made the religion bad reputation, they bring this tragedy of animals attacking people in the world. It brings judgment to the world. By the way, I said in my lecture when I spoke about Gehenom, hell, it's not on the website, but there is 7 different layers, 7 different levels. The lowest level, it's called Tachtit Haaretz. There are 3 sins that people who make them goes to the worst place, which is called Tachtit Haaretz. Tachtit Haaretz in English means bottom of the earth, which means there is 1, 2, 3, 4. The 7th one, the lowest one, is the worst place. All the other 6 categories, a person that goes there, he gets punished for his sins. It cleans the soul, it purifies the soul. And once the soul become clean and pure as it was in the day of the creation, the soul comes out of there and go to heaven based on the credits and the mitzvot that this person made, the good deeds. But the 7th player, if a person enters there, that's the end of the story. The soul never comes out of there, stays there for eternity. And that's horrible. What are the 3 sins that a person does that gets him there? One is not observing the Sabbath. Second, wasting seed. It's more applying for men, but women also is the cause of it, so she's also a part of the sin. And Chilul Hashem. Chilul Hashem, this is what we're talking here about. Chilul Hashem means disgracing the name of Hashem, the reputation of the Torah. So, everything I say, it's subject to not making tshuva. If a person did not make repentance, that's what happens to him, God forbid. But if he makes tshuva before he dies, that changes his status completely from wicked to a righteous person. And if you want to know how to make tshuva, now it's the right time. We don't have that much time left. It's a month before the judgment day. Go into my website, enter the series of the tshuva part 1, part 2, part 3, repentance. And if you, Be'ezrat Hashem, look over there, it's going to give you the instruction how to make repentance in a right way, in a proper way. Then, one other sin that brings tragedies to the world, bad animals comes to the world, is not keeping Shnat Shemitah. The 7th year, every 7-year cycle, Hashem said that the farmers, remember, in the old days almost everyone was a farmer to some extent. People grew up tomatoes and oranges and cucumbers and lettuce, whatever they grew in their backyard. You know, things that are being used every day, people grew in their own territory. But most people made parnasa from being farmers, wheat, barley, all these things. Every cycle of 7 years, Jews are obligated in Israel, in the Holy Land, not to take anything from the land, to leave the land alone, not to give water, not to plow the ground, not to clean, not to do anything. That's called Shnat Shemitah. You have to give rest to the land, to renew itself, and then you start again. And Hashem promised that in the 6th and the 7th and the 8th years, what's going to happen? If in the 7th year you're not allowed to cut anything, how are you going to have food? So in the 6th year, you're going to have so much blessing, the Torah promised, that you're going to get triple of the amount of a normal year. If in the 5th year you get 100,000 tons of wheat, for instance, so then on the 6th year, which is 1 year after the 5th year, you're going to get 300,000. 3 times more, in average, plus minus. Why? To have enough for the 6th year, to have enough for the 7th year, that you're not allowed to cut, and for the 8th year. At least few months to go in the 8 years until you go back to business. It's very interesting. There used to be in Israel a rabbi, his name was Rabbi Mizrachi Sharabi. He's a very big tzaddik, Yemenite, passed away, 30 years ago. And this Rabbi Mizrachi Sharabi was first of all, he had a computer head. He was sitting in a Gemara shiur, teaching Gemara without even a Gemara. He knew what he was teaching by heart. That's how big he was. Of course, he was a big Kabbalist, and he was growing some vegetables in his yard, in his backyard. And every year on the 6th year, he made sure to take his current students to his house for a tour. What? To see the cucumbers and the tomatoes and everything that he was growing. He said, you see, remember last year? Come and see how much more this year. He showed them the magic, the promise that the Torah made in their own eyes. They were saying, the Rav was taking us to his place, always 3 times more to have enough for the next year and the year after. So, not keeping Shvit, not keeping the Shnat Shemitah, bringing this judgment to the world. Then, there is a disease who called Dever. Dever, this is one of the sicknesses that Hashem brought in Egypt for the Egyptians. And this disease come to the world for few reasons. What's the reasons for this disease to come? When first of all the Dever comes. The Dever comes in a 4th year, in a cycle of 7 years, Shnat Shemitah. We have the 4th year, the 7th year, and in the end of the 7th year, mainly. Why? Because this is the years that we have to give, it's called Maaser Ani. Maaser Ani. When you plant a tree, first 3 years you're not allowed to enjoy from the fruit. You plant a tree in Israel, first 3 years you're not touching the fruit. You put an orange tree, it's growing, first year, let's see it have fruit after a year or 2. You're not taking the fruit. If they fall, you're not allowed to enjoy from it. It's called Orla. Orla. After the 3rd year, the 4th year, this is where you have to take it to Yerushalayim and eat it over there. And if people did not keep the Shemitah and all that, the Dever used to come in the 4th year. This is why, because they're supposed to take it to Yerushalayim and give it to the poor people, but they didn't do it. So that brought strong judgment in the world. And on Shnat Shemitah, because they didn't keep Shnat Shemitah, so during the 7th year, and especially in the end of the 7th year, which is the end of that 7-year cycle, there's more anger in the world. People used to die from this epidemic that called Dever. We don't have it today, this disease, Baruch Hashem. And then it's then we're moving on to the next Mishnah 10. There are 4 different kinds of people. You can share humanity to 4 different categories. Arba midot ba'adam. Midot means traits. What are the traits of the people, right? We can divide them to 4 different categories. Now let's review what I'm saying here to see in which category we are in. Are we in 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th category? Now, what are the 4 categories? Let's start. The first category is a person who say, mine is mine, everything that I own, it's mine, and everything you own is yours. Like 2 roommates. You went to yeshiva, you have a refrigerator in your room, you buy some stuff, you put in, your friends buy some stuff, he puts in, so you write your name on yours, he writes his name on his, You don't touch mine, I don't touch yours. That's most likely what most people do in colleges, in the army, and places that you have a public refrigerator or cabinets. That's what people do. That's called a mediocre person. Not good, but not bad. In the middle. Some disagree and say, no, that's called Midat Sdom. That's like the people of Sdom. You don't touch mine, I don't touch yours. But for halacha, it's called Midah Benonit. Benonit means in the middle, mediocre. The next category, mine is mine, and yours is also mine. That's what most people are. That's the most common thing. Why? I give you an example. Like, let's say sometimes you come, two kids or two teenagers, they had a fight. So he asked the guy that is upset now, Reuven, why are you upset at Shimon? It's annoying, he sits on my bed. I fix my bed, I come to my room, I see he's sitting on my bed. I told him, don't sit on my bed. He has a point, right? He made up the sheets, the blankets, it's all straight, nice, like, you know. He saw it wrinkled now, it went a little bit off the bed. He has a point. There's only one problem. Let's put a camera there for the last month, retroactive, and see how many times Reuven sat on his bed. So if he does it to me, I'm ready to kill. When I do it to him, what's the problem? Big deal, I sat on your bed. But just a week ago somebody sat on your bed, you're ready to kill him. Or somebody put a bottle of soda in the fridge, you were very thirsty, you came after sport, you didn't want to drink water from the faucet. In America it's against the law. God forbid you drink water from the faucet. When people see me taking water from the faucet, they look at me like I'm crazy. What? You drink this water? Oh, you kill me, I can't. I'm surprised. Yeah, God forbid we drink water from the faucet. So anyway, so what's going on here? You thirsty, you take from his Coke, you drink. Say later when he comes back, say, hey, I drank a little bit from your Coke. No problem. A month later, somebody drank from yours. Lashon hara in the entire place. See, this guy is a thief. You do the same thing. No problem. A person doesn't see he's negative, but he sees every little thing about others. That's called mine is mine, yours is also mine. Okay. How do we call this category? Am haaretz. Am haaretz, ignorant. Ignorant. Why we call it Am haaretz? We should have said Rasha, no? Wicked. If everything that I own is mine and everything he owns is also mine, that's called greedy, stingy. I don't know, find a word for it. But it's far away from being ignorant. That's just a bad person. Ignorant, someone has no idea what's going on. He never learns, so he's empty. It's very, very interesting. So the explanation of that is that sometimes you use the verse, the term Am haaretz, ignorant, not necessarily only to somebody who doesn't know anything. Sometimes he's a person that doesn't have culture. It's not the case. He doesn't have culture. He's no manners. That's called no manners. That's what it means right now. He may know, but he still doesn't have the right manners. The third category, mine is yours and yours is also yours. Everything that I have, you're free to use. Don't ask me permission. I brought cake, you can eat it. I brought bread, it's yours. I brought drink, it's yours. And yours, I do not touch anything from yours. I don't want to owe anybody anything. Yours is yours. Whatever I have, you can have. What is it? It's called Hasid. Hasid means, it's called Lifni Mishurat Adin. I'm willing to do something that I'm not even obligated from the Torah. Nowhere the Torah told you to be a fool. Everything is mine, is yours. And yours is also yours. And I'm left with nothing. And that's called a generosity. This is a person that is very generous. And the fourth category, mine is mine. Oh, 1 second. Yeah, we already said, no, sheli shelach v'shelcha sheli. Oh, what I said before, I have to correct myself. What I say, mine is yours and yours is mine. Like I buy this pita bread and you buy from another grocery. Let's always, I buy this, you eat mine and I eat yours. That's called amaretz. That's called ignorant. That's called a person that is ignorant. Now we're coming to what I said before. We have to be wicked. What? Mine is mine and yours is also mine. That's like a thief. I'm not willing to give anything, but I want everything that you have to be also mine. This was 4 different categories of people. We're speaking obviously about generosity, being stingy or not. And one other Mishnah, the 11th Mishnah, there are 4 different kind of people when it comes to thinking, to behaving. What are they? The first category is a person that get angry quickly. Right away. You make a beep, he's ready to kill you. Your mother came here an hour ago. Yes, so what's the problem? No, I just wanted to tell you, your mother was here. She can't say hello. No, that's not what he wanted to say. A minute later, he takes his machine gun. I know a person, when I was a kid, I used to go buy ice cream from him. Whatever, I'm not going to tell you from what nationality he was. I let you use your head a little bit. As soon as I used to come and say, hello, Mr. Moshe, he looks at me, ready to kill me. Don't ask hello. Shh, don't talk. What happened? As soon as you say hello, you come to his store, he gets angry. One time I had to replace the ice cream. I wanted one flavor by mistake. I put a different one. He started to wrap it with a newspaper. You know, it used to be, they roll it with a newspaper. I said, no, I'm sorry, I took the wrong one. Oh, forget it. For a week I couldn't come there anymore until you forget that incident. Somebody like this, how can you marry him? How can you be around him? So that's called Noach Likos, gets angry right away, but at the same time, all he needs is 5 minutes to relax. Shh, leave me alone. 5 minutes later, his breath come back, he's not angry anymore, he's willing to shake your hand, hug you, no problem, forget what happened, we're back to the right place. No. Second, so the Mishnah say, Yatzas charo be'efsedo. Very foolish. What did you gain by being angry for 5 minutes? Would be better off not to. You're already very close to be perfect. Just don't be angry for 2-3 minutes and everything will be perfect. If you're angry for 10 hours, for 10 days, for 10 years, I know people, if you do one little thing to them, they will never forget it. I have a friend, nice guy, he has a lot of great things about him. There's one major problem about him. He just cannot overcome that problem. I'll tell you a story that happened to him and you tell me what's going on here. One time, his friend is a gardener. He's, doing grass, taking care of gardening. So his friend needed the help. So he told him, what are you doing today? He said, today I'm home, I don't have work. So you want to come work with me? How much you pay me? X amount of money per hour. Okay, I'll come with you. Then in lunchtime, there's Goyim workers, all the Spanish workers. Now it's lunchtime. So the boss that called this guy, he told him, I'm going to get lunch for them. Watch them around. Watch them because maybe sometimes they steal things and disappear. Every tool here can be hundreds of dollars. I don't know them. I pick them up from, there's a place that all of them will stand, like 200 of them every morning, and they wait for somebody to come, give them job. They stand over there in intersection in Muncie. You pass by. If you need a worker for the day, they all, as soon as they see a car slowing down, 20 people jump. Trabajo, señor, trabajo. Right away, that's the situation, so he doesn't know them. So if they come, he pays them $10 an hour, he goes now to lunch, he doesn't know who they are. Probably they're not even legal in this country. He doesn't know their name, nothing. So he can't, by the time he comes back, one sword that can be $500 is disappeared. So he told my friend, watch them. He comes back after half an hour, one of them disappeared with one tool that worth $50. So he was supposed to pay him, $80 for the day of work, so he took it off his paycheck. In other words, he was supposed to pay him the end of the day, let's say $88. He said, it's your fault, I put you responsible to watch them. Why you didn't watch the guy? He stole something that is $50. I'm taking him off from your money. This was, by now, more than 10 years ago, that story. Every time until this day, he hear the name of that gardener, is mamash like he hear the name Hitler. That's how he reacts. The guy got married. He send you an invitation. I don't even want to open it. Don't talk to me about it. I said, come on, $50. Come, I'll give you. You want it for me? I'll give you the $50 to make peace with him, to make peace between two Jews. And the other guy is a very nice person. It's not a bad person. He may probably came back and got angry. I put you to watch and you don't care, So he took care. Bottom line, the guy had a baby. He doesn't want to hear from it. Everywhere he goes, he doesn't want to come. The guy goes to pray in this shul. No, I'm not going there. 10 years later, it's like it happened a minute ago. He never forgets. 10 years, for what? For what? There are people like this. Very difficult for them to forgive. But here we're talking about a guy, he got very angry, he's ready to kill you. 5 minutes later, he drank a glass of water, he's okay. No problem, forget it, we're okay now. That's the Mishnah say, יצא שכרו בהפסדו. He lose more than he make. The second category, קשה לכעוס, very difficult to get him angry. It's very cool, he has patience, he doesn't jump like this, he doesn't have temper. But finally, if you got him angry, it will be very difficult to make him pleased after that. He has a lot of patience for you, but make sure you don't cross the red line. Once you cross the line to make him happy, it will be very difficult. The Mishnah says, יצא הפסדו בשכרו. Also not good. What's the point? Then the third category, קשה לכעוס ונוח לרצות. Very, very difficult to get him angry. Maybe once in 10 years. You really had to do something horrible for him to get upset. Really, really. So not only he hardly ever becomes angry, hardly ever, finally if he gets angry, 2 minutes later he said, no problem, no hard feeling, let's forget that it's happened, I forgive you, goodbye. That's called Hasid. We are people, we're not angels. You cannot live 70 years and not get angry even once. Even though I know one person, my first rabbi who taught me Gemara, I'm willing to swear that he never got angry in his entire life. He should be about 60 years old today. He doesn't know what does it mean to get angry. Every second of his day is smiling, is in the moon. If you wouldn't know he's a big tzaddik that learns Torah all his life, and you see him without his Jewish image, you will be sure that he's on high drugs. That's how he looks. But of course, he doesn't even know what cigarette is. Not only that, this person is, you can review him, you take a video camera and film his day. 1 week you film him, it's going to make a revolution in the entire world, even by the Goyim, when they see how a real kosher Jew behave every day. How to believe? Never get angry, always smiling, always in the moon. Walk on the street, he put Walkman not to waste time. Obviously he doesn't drive a car, he's in his own world. So when he walk on the street, he has a suitcase full of heavy books. All day he carries this suitcase everywhere he goes. He goes from one yeshiva to the other, he teach here, he teach there, he goes to pray. He has this big bag full of books, and he puts Walkman. And he's such a humble person, he knows the whole Torah by heart. What does he listen to? Rabbi Amnon Yitzchak. So one time I told him, Rabbi, why you walk with a Walkman in the street? You cannot hang to him. You want to give him a ride. He doesn't hear because he has this Walkman. So I stopped. I was calling him, trying to get his attention. I said, what are you listening to? He said, I love this guy, this Rav. I said, who is this? He said, Rabbi Amnon Yitzchak. I said to him, oh, Rabbi, you like the Kiruv stuff? He said, yeah, it makes me make tshuva all the time. This guy never made a sin in his life. He wants to make tshuva. We are full of baloney, and what do we have with tshuva? That's the way it is. I always say, the more intelligent you are, the more righteous you are, the more you recognize how far you are from the truth. The more loser you are, the more far away you are, I'm perfect. I have VIP rabbi, first row in heaven. I'm between Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai and Rabbi Akiva. I bought my chair there. On the stage with Moshe Rabbeinu. What do you want? What? I'm such a great husband. What do you do for your wife? I never beat her up. Once in a while I take the garbage out. Thank you, you're such a tzaddik. I don't play pool. I come home at 8 o'clock at night. I learn Torah once a week. Come on, my friend. The more people know, the more they learn, the more they, oh wow, I'm so far from the real target. So this is it. So this Rav is, one time I went to him in Purim. Purim, it's mitzvah to drink some wine. So he drank wine. He was in a very good mood, like half drunk. We went in, a bunch of guys, bring him mishloach manot. So since he was in a high mood, he's very humbled always. So he looks at us, we kissed his hand. Now by the Ashkenazim, it's not so popular to kiss the hand of the rabbi. By the Sfaradim, everyone they see, they kiss his hand. If you have long beard, even if you're the biggest thief, they come to kiss your hand. But, so he's impressed by the respect that Sfaradim gives the Rav. So he started to say to his son-in-law, look at these Sfaradim, how they respect the rabbis, how they kiss their head. He was in a mood. Then he started to say, you came in the right time. You tell me any verse in the Tanakh, and I'll give you a 1-hour lecture about it. So one guy was standing there. He gave him the hardest verse you can think of. It's like Chinese. Don't understand one word. Take the professor for Hebrew in university. He doesn't know anything. We thought he's going to say, what is this? Give me something that we know. He started to shoot. For an hour he's talking, and we already left. He's continued to talk. It's in a different world. Full of Torah. Full of Torah and humbled. One time I stopped in the street to pick him up. I said, Rabbi, you don't recognize me. I took you so many times in the car. I gave you rides. He said, I never look at the car. He doesn't recognize the car. Maybe 100 times in the last year, we went back and forth in the car. When he was trying to cross the street, I hung, he doesn't hear. So I blocked his way on the sidewalk, and I tried to get my head to the other window for him to see me. So I see him trying to go around the car. I scream, Rabbi, well, you don't recognize the car? He said, no, I never looked at the car. What a Jew does the first thing when he meets a person? 500 times he check what car he drives. Then he check his watch, then he check his shoes. If he wouldn't be embarrassed, he would try to see what suit he wears. The new generation today in the yeshivot, the kids come, how are you doing, brother? You're not one of us. Your suit is less than $50. Go. Empty. When people are empty, that's what they pay attention to. One time I came to yeshiva, there were 3 guys in a Gemara shiur. I was late few minutes. One guy that day wasn't there at all, and there was one guy over there sleeping from the lunchtime. His head is down. He figured when the rabbi will come, he'll wake me up. The shiur starts. I come 10 minutes late. I see the rabbi with the Gemara open. He talks. He reads the Gemara, and I see this guy sleeping. The other guy is not there, and I just behind him. He doesn't see me. I'm standing there for a few seconds. I see he's talking to the wall. So then I come around. I say, Rabbi, hello, who are you talking to, Rabbi? I said, to him. Don't you see he's snoring? He's sleeping. He said, don't worry. Probably had a long night. He went to sleep very late. I say, yeah, but what's the point? You don't want to wake him up, fine. Well, who are you talking to? He said, no, it's neshama ears. His soul ears. This is what we told you. Somebody like this, I promise you, no matter what you do to him, you beat him up, you insult him, you take away his bag, whatever, he'll never get angry. Never. He doesn't know what does it mean to be angry. I once asked him, I said, Rabbi, did you ever get angry? Ever? One time in your life? So he started to get embarrassed. So he got red. Started to smile. No, like he doesn't know what it means. This is it. Somebody like this, if you ever get him angry once in a blue moon, the Gemara says that somebody made a bet. He said, I want you to go and get Hillel HaZaken angry. Hillel, later he became the president of the Sanhedrin. So he said, I want you to get the rabbi angry. I'll give you 400 zuz, whatever, a lot of money. We'll make a bet if you get him angry. The guy said, of course I'll get him angry. He comes, he started to ask him all kinds of annoying questions. Whatever he answers, he gives him a weird question and another one to get him lose his Patience. After X amount of time, he saw no chance to get his rabbi angry. So he said to him, Rabbi, I was just playing with you. I just wanted to get you angry to make money. Because of you, I lost 400. So he told him, it's better you lose 400 and don't get me angry. In other words, if I will get angry, Hashem will clear you from the face of the earth. You come to mess with the wrong guy. Better you lose the money and be quiet. You know, you have to know who to get angry. Anyway, so it's very rare that he's getting angry, but at the same time, when he gets angry, right away he forgives. And the last category, as soon as he sees you, he goes crazy. Though he didn't even open your mouth. He's ready to kill you. And finally, 10 years later, he still doesn't want to forget. Not only foolish reasons to get angry, 10 years later, he still remember what happened. That's called Rasha. 4 different categories. So we spoke about generosity, we spoke about anger. What's the next one? Students. Who's considered a good student? Arba midot batalmidim. 4 different kinds of students. One understands right away, but forgets everything right away. You give a shiur, like in a lecture. Some people, as soon as the rabbi starts his sentence, he got the point. You ask him by the door, by the end of the lecture, what did the rabbi spoke about? I don't know, I can't remember. Right away he forgets. You may ask, what's the point of coming to a lecture? The answer is, when a person dies and his soul gets out of the body, all the Torah he ever heard comes back. Nothing goes out of the soul. The soul registers everything even when you sleep. When you sleep, if you put a tape, when you come in front of Hashem with the soul only, without the body, even the Torah you heard what the tape was playing, you remember. I know a guy, he puts the tape on repeat. You know, repeat all night is an hour lecture. All night it plays. So he has MP3. He goes from one. He finished this. He goes to the next one. Goes to the next one until he finishes all the lecture. He goes to the beginning. What's the point when he sleeps? He says, "What do I care?" It goes into the soul. One day it all comes back. Because the soul records everything in the subconscious, everything has been recorded. What's the proof that that's the way it is? Hypnotize him. Hypnotize him when he wake up and see that whatever he did not remember before you started hypnotizing him, he didn't remember. Once you hypnotizing him and you ask him what happened half an hour ago, he begins to say word by word from what he heard on the tape. Why? It's all recorded. Everything you see, everything you hear, everything you ever thought about, it's all recorded in your subconscious. So, I once gave an example with a nail. Did you ever hear that example or no? A woman see her husband came from the bus stop and he's walking home. He walks for 10 minutes, he looks at the floor. By the time he came home, she asked him, Moshe, can you describe to me everything you saw on the floor? He said, where? He said, on the street. So who cares about the floor in the street now? She said, no, I've been watching you and I see that you stare at the floor. He said, no, I was thinking about what happened at work. You think I care about the floor? Okay, end of story. 2 minutes later, she come to hang a picture and she's looking for a nail. Checking in the drawers, checking everywhere, she can't find a nail. So she say, you know what, it's a shame, I want to hang this picture so bad and I cannot find a nail. He said, oh, wait a minute, I saw a nail on the street. Let me go get it to you. He runs quickly downstairs, she looks from the window, he goes exactly, where the nail is, he picks it up, he comes, he says, here is a nail. You can hang your picture. So she asked him, I don't get it. I ask you now to tell me everything you saw on the floor. You couldn't tell me one thing. Now I needed a nail. You know exactly where the nail is in 1 mile of distance. What's going on here? The brain of a person has 2 categories, conscious and subconscious. Conscious works all the time. So whatever you hear and you function, it always stays in the front of your head, because you need it for every hour. Things that are rare, that you once in a while needs them, automatically the brain sends them to storage. You don't pay attention. Every beep on the street, every siren, everything, wind, noise, rain, people are talking on the street. You don't even pay attention to it. What do I care what they talk over there? I walk on my street. Now, if I hypnotize you, you'll be able to see everything that happened that day. You know every beep that took millions of people talking. Everything is recorded in the soul. The soul has no limitation. It's divine 100%, like God. So the soul records everything. That's why the Torah is very strict about not to look at bad things, not modest things, not dirty movies, not to listen to dirty music. Because even if you make tshuva, it stays in your subconscious forever. You cannot erase it. It stays there. It's a stain in your soul. That's why the Torah says, watch your eyes very carefully. Watch your ears. Watch what you hear. Watch everything you do. So, he understands everything right away, but at the same time forgets right away everything. Then, second kind of students, very difficult for them to understand. Very difficult. But finally, when they understand, they'll remember it forever. Finally, when he got the point, you ask him 10 years later, he still remember what he learned. The Gemara say that there was a Rabbi Preda, his name was. Rabbi Preda is one of the chief rabbis of the generation, and every day he teaches students 400 times a page of Gemara. 400 times, in one day. Again and again and again until he catch the point. One time the rabbi had a business meeting in the afternoon, so he came early in the morning to the yeshiva and he told the student, today I want you to be extra careful and try to remember and to pay attention to everything I'm going to teach you. So the student asked him, what happened, Rabbi? So he said, I have a meeting, an important business meeting, I have to leave early today. So try to understand faster today. So around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the rabbi said, okay, 400 times we finish. I hope you got it, no? So the student said, I don't understand anything today. So the rabbi said, I don't understand. Every day, 400 times you understand. Today, I taught you 400 times. Just today, when I need you to know faster, even 400 times is not enough? Okay, you couldn't learn faster, but at least learn the same way you learn every day. So the student told him, Rabbi, I'm so sorry. From the minute you told me to be focused, I got so nervous I couldn't think. You know, these people, when they're under pressure, the brain freeze. They cannot think, make a right, make a left, they freeze. So the rabbi said, okay, forget about the business meeting. Let's start from the beginning. He taught him 400 times extra, till the night. So the Gemara says, in heaven, Hashem announced that he's going to live 400 years in this world, and him and everyone from his generation that didn't have a share to the world to come is going to have a chance to inherit the world to come thanks to his merit. Just for that. Sometimes, it's a big thing what he did. How many people in the history would go and do such a thing? But after all, it's one day. One day. Efforts. For that, Hashem was willing to give him a lot. Rabbi Preda. So his student was very hard to understand, but finally when he understands. Then the third category is, he understands very quick, very sharp, and also remember everything he understands. That's called Chacham, a real Chacham. Everything he understands right away, and everything he remembers right away. You come 3 weeks later, what did you learn 2 weeks ago? He knows. There was one guy when I was in yeshiva many years ago. He was the champion of South America for math. You know, Venezuela, Argentina, Brazil, all the countries, they had a competition who is the greatest mathematician. And this guy, his name is Avraham Ben Siksu. That's his name. He's a Jew from Venezuela. He came to America from Venezuela. 2 years he's in yeshiva. 2 years. Today he's in Israel. Right away he went to the best yeshiva in Israel after 2 years. But the 2 years that he was there in Monsey, the chief rabbis of the yeshiva was asking him questions. They learned 40 years. He learns 2 years. 2 years, every page he learned, he knew by heart. I used to go and ask him, Avraham, I know there's a Tosfot in one of the places in the Talmud that speaks about that. He said, wait 1 second. Mamash, it's like he pressing a button in his head. Oh, 1 second. He pulled the Gemara, hundreds of books. Right away, here, it's right here. Every question, everything he ever learned, right away, he remembers everything. One time I had a not religious guy, also with photographic memory. His name, Giora Kuczynski. Remember this name, I'm looking for him for more than 10 years. I used to give lectures on every Monday. Monday is a blessed day for me, Monday night. Series. 2 years in one place. It's on Main Street and 68. Right there, the house of Dr. Morad. If you know who he is. Right there in a corner. There used to be a bunch of people living there, renting the place. I used to give lecture. Israelis coming until 3, 4 in the morning every Monday. One time, there's one not religious Ashkenazi guy. His name is Giora Kuczynski. Shows up out of nowhere. Came to the lecture. We sitting, we arguing. I see this guy is very, very smart. Right the way I see from the way he asks questions. He's not religious, but he knows a lot. I'm arguing with him. He asked me a question about King David, Malchut Bet David, something the prophet Samuel said. I asked the woman that lives there, do you have a Tanakh here? With the prophets in it? She said, no, we don't have it. I said, that day I didn't have my laptop. Usually I take my laptop right away, I get it out. So I was without my laptop there. So I told him, we don't have the book. I have to look at the pasuk to know what to answer you. So we continue. He said, I have it in my home. I live 2 blocks away. So I said, okay, let's go to your house. 4 o'clock in the morning. We went to his house. We continued the argument until 5:30 in the morning. But before we went to his house, I see that I'm talking to him and he has a notebook, he has a pen, and he supposedly is writing. I say to myself, what a devoted guy. Everything I say he writes. Professional. Mamash, a nice debate. Then I got up, I got a little bit closer to him, I see he's playing games. He doesn't write anything. X, 0, he play games. So I told him, I don't get it, I'm speaking to you as 2 intelligent people, and this is the respect you give. You playing games in your notebook? So he looks at me and says, I don't understand, what's the problem? Why, I didn't answer you to the point? Why? So I said, no, you answer to the point. He said, I always do more than one thing at the same time. Don't get excited. So I saw right away something is not right here. I said, what do you mean you do more than one thing? He said, yeah, I'll give you an example. So you can tell me a number with 30 digits, and you let me look at the 30 numbers, and I look at that 30 seconds, and I'll tell you the 30 numbers from left to right, and from right to left, by heart. So, what's the first thing came to my mind? It has to be a trick here. Probably knows how to divide the 30 numbers. So I told him, what happened if I write 35 numbers? You're still going to be able to do it. It's even 100. I just need a minute. A little bit more time to look at that. I told the girl over there, please write 33 digits on a piece of paper and give it to me. She writes 33 digits on a little square yellow note. You know those sticking notes? She writes 33 digits. She gives it to me. I give it to him. He looks at it like this. Not even 15 seconds. He gives it back to me. He says, okay. You say, okay, say from left to right or from right to left? I say from the end to the beginning, in reverse. Told me all the numbers. So now I knew, oh, wait a minute, this guy deserves a special attention. It's not an ordinary person. I continued the arguments with him. Finally, we got to the point that he asked me this question from the prophet. We don't have the prophet. So we got up and we walked to his home. We continue another hour over there. Now it's morning already. By the end of the argument, he said, okay, you answer my question, fine, very good. But, I still have a lot of other questions. I say, you know what, I have an idea. I have a book here. It's called Mesilot El HaEmunah. Path to Emunah, to faith. One rabbi wrote it in Israel, Rabbi Gabai. Very good book, very recommended in Hebrew. So I said, you know what? I'll give you the book. It's all the proofs about the Torah, the oral Torah, life after life, scientific proofs. Read the book, write comments, call me, and we continue the argument. Why should we waste time? All the answers is in this book. So he said, okay, what's your number? So I told him, write down the number. He said, no, just tell me the number. So I said to him, you're not serious. So he said, why? Every number I ever heard in my life since I'm a little kid, I can tell you all of them by heart now. Thousands of numbers. You tell me anybody you want, I'll tell you his telephone number. Now I started to shake. So I told him, really? He said, yeah. So I can tell you the numbers. Now remember, this is 2 hours in the other house. I have the note in my pocket. So he said, I can tell you the numbers. So I pull out the numbers. And I say, yeah, tell me the numbers. So he says, all the numbers. He asked me from left to right or from right to left. I told him in reverse. He told me all the numbers. So he said, don't worry, I don't have to write your telephone number. I gave him the telephone number and I left. Okay. I didn't hear any phone call from him, nothing. 10 days later, actually 9 days later, it was Wednesday night, I went to Main Street, there's a bakery there, in Main Street and 68 there. I walk into the bakery to buy some bread. Who do I see? His roommate. Oren, how are you? What's with Giora? He never called me. I gave him the book. He said, he's busy, he's looking for a job in Wall Street, he's making phone calls all day, interviews, this. I said, did he read the book? He said, I don't know, maybe, I don't think so. But he's in the house, you can come see him now. So let's go. We walked. As I come, he comes out of the apartment. He has mail, he goes to send his mail. So he looks at me, oh, not you again. I said, did you read the book? He said, no, I'm sorry, I didn't have time. But I can tell you the numbers. Now you have to understand, for 9 days, I walk everywhere, everyone I speak to, I say, you're not going to believe what I just saw. A person with a computer brain. Mamash. So I say, yeah, what's the number? 9 days later, he told me all the numbers. Somebody like this, if would learn Torah, 1 year, he knows what an average person learns in 20 years. Why? Because we have to repeat everything 10 times until we remember it. Again, and you will learn it again and again, maybe you remember it. He reads it once, it's like recorded. So it's just a matter of how much he reads. Whatever he reads, you get it right away. So I made an agreement with him that he comes to our seminar. I said, oh, that's going to be the best seminar in history. Never had such a giant in a seminar. The morning, every day before the seminar, I used to call him, you coming, right? Don't worry about the money. I pay the money. You just come. The morning of the seminar I called, his roommate said, no, he was fooling you. He flew to Florida today. He's not in New York anymore. He left New York. I never found him ever. I was very excited. Tonight he's going to come. No. I searched him in Google, everything. I found that this name Kuczynski was big rabbis in the past. Maybe he's their descendants, I don't know. Bottom line, not religious guy, a brain like this, computer, everything he hears, he remembers. So this is the 11th Mishnah. We're starting the 12th Mishnah. Actually, the 13th Mishnah we're starting. 4 different kinds of donators. People who give tzedakah. Let's see where we are. Someone, he wants to give all the tzedakah and he doesn't want to give a chance to any other Jew to give tzedakah. Which means he comes to the shul, they say we need $1,000 to fix the air condition of the shul. So we want to collect money from all the audience. So he said, no, here, I give the whole amount. Give the Jews another, maybe a chance. They give $100 each. They participate in the mitzvah. Right away jump. Or a Jew is in jail. They need $100,000. So they want to make a meeting between 20 millionaires that each one will give a part, and they take the money and redeem the Jew from the goyim. So he said to the rabbi, don't bother. Here is a check for the whole amount. Go get them out. Technically, it's good, no? It's very generous. He wants to do the mitzvah. Apparently, it's not so simple. We used to have an unbelievable, big, huge, giant rabbi. His name was Rav Yonatan Eivshitz, more than 200 years ago. He wrote a very famous book. It's called Yaharot Vash. One time, he was learning with a Chevruta. He has a friend that they were learning together. This was a Jew, redhead. Redhead, they have hot temper usually, redhead people. So his friend, he sees that across the street from the yeshiva, the Christians building a church. He went crazy when he saw that. Right in front of us, they couldn't find another place. Now from the window every day, I'm going to see the cross in front of my eyes. He said, Lo yakum velo yeh. I will not let something like this happen. So Rav Yonatan asked him, what are you planning to do? He said, I'm going to climb on a roof. Just when they stick that cross, I'll bring my sword and I cut it. So he told him, you got to be careful. What do you think? They don't expect such a thing? They may be making a trap over there. Maybe they have a guard. Don't mess with them. One day, the rabbi comes in the morning to the yeshiva. His Chevruta didn't show up. Now this is a guy that never missed a minute. Sick. Every time he came to learn. Right away he knew something happened. Few hours later, the church sent them a messenger. And the person that is watching the church, they have a guard there. Like a doorman. He's in charge. He's in maintenance over there. He comes, he knocks on their door. Rabbi, I got to tell you something. You know this is Gingy, this redhead guy that you have here in this yeshiva? Last night, they were waiting for him on the roof. He came to cut the cross. They put a sack on his head. They tie him. And they hid him inside the basement all the way in the bottom of the church. And they're going to kill him. I know where he's hiding, where they hid him. And I know where they're going to kill him. And I'm watching there for many years in this church. And if you want to save the Jew, I want 100,000 ruble. Like $100,000 today. You get me $100,000, he's going to be released, but you're not going to be able to keep him in town. Once I release him, you have to send him far away, that they won't know where he is. So the rabbi told him, okay, thank you very much. How long do I have? He said, oh, maybe 2-3 days to get the money, because they're planning to take him to kill him one day. So the rabbi said to all the guys in yeshiva, everybody close the Gemara. We have an emergency here. Our friend is captured. What can we do? We have to raise 100,000 ruble. Everybody goes to every Jewish house in town, knock on doors, start collecting money. We must release him. So the rabbi see, first day, nobody brought anything yet. Second day, nothing. I said, tomorrow it's the last day before they kill the guy. He know his wife, when they got married, her parents gave her X amount of money. And she put it in a safe. So he said, what am I going to do? If I tell my wife I take away all her life saving, it's going to be a disaster. All her jewelry, everything. I won't tell her. It's a life risk. Pikuach nefesh. Let me first save the guy, and then I worry about the problem. He took all the money and the jewelry. He came to that Christian. He said, listen, this is what I got. You're willing to release him with this money? So the guy looked at that. He said, okay, give me everything. He gave him everything in a sack. The guy took it. An hour later, that guy, they released him. And he said, right away, go out of town. The next day, all the guys came from all over with money. They collected money. What happened? Rav Yonatan Eifshitz was afraid from his wife that she finds out. So he said, you know what, let me go also with this guy for a week. I'll help him, I'll take him to another town. By the time I come back, she'll relax. She'll relax. You know, now she's going to find out. There's no phone calls like today. The wife calls you every 2 minutes. Moshe, I need to talk now. I'll kill you. No, leave me alone. I'll come home tonight, we'll talk. No, you talk now. I'm sitting in a bank. I'm here. I'm in a class. I don't care. You know, it's a problem. So what happened? He said, when I come back in a week, she'll relax. A week later, he comes back. He's nervous. He's waiting with a machine gun. Then he sees, he comes into the house, she's dancing, singing. Never saw her so happy. So what happened? So you think you're a wise guy, huh? Cow. You wanted to fool me, huh? You took all my money. We are rich people. So we are rich? We left with nothing. I have all the money we had. He said, no, come. She showed him a huge barrel full of diamonds, full of gold, full of cash. Fortune! He said, what's this? He said, after you left, the priest across the street, they knew who is the guy who released the Jew. So they say, you know what? You release the Jew, we'll kill you for that Jew. So they gave him until the evening to do his last errands before they kill him. So since this guy was a thief, all the years he stole money from people in a locker room, he steals a watch, he steals money, he steals this. Over the years he has a treasure. Now, you know, he's not married. Over there, they're not, God forbid, they're not allowed to get married. So he's lonely in the world and going to kill him, and he has a treasure. So he started to think, who would I give this treasure to? I gotta give it to this righteous Jew that he gave his wife money and jewelry to save his friend. He's the only one deserved to get the treasure. So he knocked on my door a day after you left. I was upset, sitting on the floor, getting ready to kill you. Then when it came, I said, everything my husband does, he always knows the best. So now, if you're the husband, what would you do in that situation? Ishtabach Shemo, Hashem, you're so great, you never let me down. You're the best, I have to make a party to say the miracles to everyone, right? What did Rav Yonatan do? Fell on the floor and started to cry. Pulling his hair, crying. So what happened to you? Crazy, get up! So you don't understand, huh? He said, what? He said, Hashem did not like my mitzvah. She said, why did not like? He said, if he would like my mitzvah, he wouldn't pay me in this world. He would pay me in the next life for eternity. Since he wasn't so happy for my mitzvah, he paid me right away cash. And why he wasn't happy for my mitzvah? Because I was greedy. I wanted to do it all on my own, without partners. I didn't wait for them to bring their money. To redeem a Jew is a very important mitzvah. You're allowed to sell a Sefer Torah from it. You're allowed to sell a Sefer Torah for it. Just to release a Jew. If the last Sefer Torah in town. No Sefer Torah in shuls. You sell it, you take the money, and you release the Jew from a prison. Which Jew? A Jew that is not a thief, that go from another Jew to another and steal their money. If he's in prison, it's better to keep him there forever, to protect the other Jews. If he's a murderer, it's better to keep him in prison forever. If he's a guy who lives with his wife without mikveh, without taharat mishpacha, there's no permission to release him. You're only allowed to release him knowing he's keeping taharat mishpacha. If he doesn't want, what's the point of releasing him? That he's going to make isurei karet? It's better that he's separated from her. Now they both not making sins. Everything has halacha. You know, you just don't go by your heart. You go by the sechel, by the brain. So Rav Yonatan Eifshitz taught us a lesson. If Hashem pays you for the mitzvah right away, don't be so happy, my friend. The reward for next life is trillion times better. It's endless. He paid you here. Maybe it wasn't perfect. Maybe you didn't do it for the real mitzvah. Maybe you did it for the ego, to get a good name. You wanted to brag. You wanted people to do more business with you. They see you generous. There's a lot of reasons. Sometimes a woman makes a sheva brachot to her friend that got married. And everyone is impressed. Wow, the Eshet Chai, look how much food she cooked. For 3 days she works. And this whole mitzvah is nothing. Why? She didn't do it for her. She did it for herself. It's a very nice show-off. Everybody will see I'm the best cook in town. They're going to see my beautiful house, the new chandelier we just got. You know, they see the new car in the driveway. She already calculated everything. It's a chance finally to put my 10-carat diamond that my husband got me for our anniversary. So Hashem said, mitzvah, Eshet Chayil, Sheva Brachot, Beloni. So it's the ego show-off. It's not a mitzvah, nothing. You understand? So this is it. So, he doesn't want anybody to give. Let me only do. That's called אינו ראה בשל אחרים. יהיה the narrow eye, עין צרה. A second category, a person that wants everybody else to give, but he will never give a penny. Give, Moshe, it's a great yeshiva. Give, trust me, it's great. What about you? Did you give? No, you know, business is tough right now. business is booming. Yeah, you give. You know, there's great CDs, believe me, it makes a lot of people religious. I know one guy like this. He tried to convince a lot of people. What about you? Never a penny, nothing. Why? It's like a doctor that tells his patients, don't smoke, it's horrible, and then a minute later he sees him in the hallway in the hospital smoking. What's the point? So, he wants everybody else to give, but he doesn't want to give. The third category, he wants everybody to give, and he wants to give even more than them. Encourage other people to give. This is a very good thing, because sometimes a person can make donations even when he's broke. A person that has zero money in his pocket, zero money in his bank account, zero money in his safe, zero, completely zero, or even all money to people, is a negative balance, like most Americans are. Somebody like this, how can he give tzedakah? He doesn't have what to give. The answer is he can give more than the billionaires. How? If he convinces wealthy people to give, everything they give thanks to his efforts counts in Shamayim that he gave more. If you have a rich friend or brother or cousin or neighbor or father-in-law, whatever, somebody that you have influence on, and you came and convince him to give money to a rabbi, to a Jew, to save Jews, to yeshiva, whatever, to good cause, and he agreed and he wrote a check, if he gave $1 million, in Shamayim count, you gave more than $1 million. 100%, literally. Not maybe like, no. Gadol ha'me'aseh yoter min ha'oseh. The Gemara says, someone who makes other Jews do mitzvot, they get their full reward, and he gets a little more than them. So if you make a Jew put tefillin today, it counts like you put 1.5 times. If you made him give $1 million, it counts like you give $1 million plus. How much plus? Hashem knows, I don't know. But you gave more than him. You gave nothing, it could be a phone call. You convince him to give, whatever he gave, it counts 100% like you gave. It's amazing, it's very good. You can be broke all your life and give more tzedakah than anybody you can think of. You know, speaking about this, you know Bill Gates, everybody knows him. Bill Gates is a very big tzaddik. He's a goy. Very big tzaddik. Why? He convinced 43 billionaires to sign on a guarantee that they will give in their lifetime more than half of their wealth to charity. He convinced Warren Buffett, together they worth more than $100 billion, both of them together. Bill Gates already gave $17 billion from his $60 billion in his life, and he continued to give. And he swore that before he dies, he will leave only $10 million to his children. That's it. Everything else he gives to charity. That's Bill Gates. And Warren Buffett also got involved. And both of them together convinced, I saw the list, 43 billionaires, big shots, all famous all over the world, to give more than half of their wealth to charity. Wow. It got us into serious problems. We are the Jews. We give 10%, 15%, we go crazy. Rabbi, I give so much. Am I allowed to give more? Look at this goyim, 17 billion, 10 billion. Not 1 hour that they don't write a check with 6, 7 digits. You understand what's going on? One time they asked him in an interview, what's your secret of your success? This goy. What does he know? He doesn't know Torah. What did he say? I believe that the more I do for others, I'm more blessed in my businesses. No, you see what's going on here? And that's the truth. That's the way it is. There's one guy in Muncie. I don't want to say his name because I don't have permission to say his name, but he deserves that his name will be in every place in the world. He's so generous and such a good person that every person that has any kind of problem stands by his house, by his door, by his office, by the shul where he prays. He has to give. He always gave. To everybody. Thousands of people over the years. One after the other. Some of them he sent monthly checks. Every person will get minimum $20. He doesn't know who you are. 1 second. Here, take 20. Goodbye. To everyone. 120. Write checks. Has charities, funds. And it was growing, it's like a meteor, you know, like growing like hard to believe how quick this person started from a little agent to become a bank and a giant and a mortgage company and own real estate, like a tycoon. Then the crash came, the real estate crash. All the real estate big shots collapsed overnight. A month before the collapse, when business was still booming, he sold his company for a few $100 million. The collapse came, the people who bought it from him, 2 months later, the value of their company went down to 20 million. For hundreds of millions. God, Hashem saved him. Almost everybody else got wiped out to zero. But he got saved. Hashem sends him back everything extra. Nobody, Gemara said, nobody ever become poor from giving tzedakah. You can become poor from stealing, from being mechalel Shabbat, from not being nice to your wife, from being a crook. Yes, that makes you poor for sure. It takes away from your blessing, from your income. But from giving, you can only become richer or stay the same. But never go back. Never. No matter how much you give, you're always going to stay either the same or more. But never go back. That's a guarantee. Guarantee in the Torah. לעולם אין אדם נעשה עני מן הצדקה. Never a person can become more poor from giving tzedakah. Never. So, the next Mishnah, 4 kinds of people, 4 kinds of different people who goes to learn Torah in yeshiva. Some students, they go to the yeshiva, but they really don't learn. Cigarettes, coffee, telephone every minute, text message, bathroom, go in, lunchtime. All days in yeshiva, 20 minutes he learns. Believe me, there are students like this. What does he get reward for? For the walking. Back and forth, he gets rewarded. Because he didn't learn. Walking there, coming back on a donkey, on a horse, walking with his feet, he gets reward for the walk. שכר הליכה בידו. Somebody who lives right next door to the yeshiva, he doesn't have to walk. Remember, in the old days, it wasn't like today. You get into your Mercedes and a minute later you're there. No, you want to go learn Torah, you walk 10 hours, 20 hours. What do you think? The yeshiva is across the street. You have to climb mountains. Your donkey dies in the middle. You have to replace his leg. So, if he's lucky, the yeshiva is right across the street. He gets the reward for the learning. But no walking reward. Reward you don't have because you didn't walk. Very good. Somebody who walks a lot to get to the yeshiva, lots of efforts, rain, snow, humidity, sweating, and also learning very serious, doesn't lose a minute when he gets there. It's called Hasid. Perfect. Do not go and do not learn. Not only he doesn't go even in his house, he doesn't touch a book. Nothing. A complete loser. That's called Rasha. Doesn't learn, not going to learn, and not learning in his own house. That's called Rasha. Wicked. 4 different kinds of students sitting in front of a preacher, rabbi that teach them Torah. 4 different kinds of categories. One is like a sponge. Sponge. What's special about sponge? A sponge, everything liquid around it, it's like a magnet, goes right in it. It absorbs everything. One, it's like mashpech. You know what mashpech is? You put water in it and you go give water to the plants. It has holes in it and it falls like rain. What's the name of it?
Funnel? No,
Sprouter?
Watering can.
Whatever the name is, doesn't matter. Then, one is napa, like a net that you clean the flour with, and the flour goes down and the stones stay up. And one, it's like a different kind of net. What's here? It's like cleaning the grapes from the seeds. You know the seeds and the peels? When you smash the grapes with the rubber boots. You have rubber boots. That's how they make wine. They stand on it for a few hours and all the liquids goes down and the net cleans the seeds and the peels. It takes it out and then only the liquid goes down. What's special about it? Let's see what's the analogy here. The analogy is like this. The sponge, everything goes inside. Clean, dirty, oil, burn oil, all kinds of dirt, the sponge take. Which means there are students, everything they hear, they accept it as the truth. They come to this rabbi, he teach them real Torah, they accept it. They come to a phony one who teach them baloney, they also accept it. That's why their mind is mixed with a lot of good and bad together. They belong to this cult, and they believe in that cult, and this guy is God, and this guy is Mashiach, and you have to go there in Rosh Hashanah, and God forbid if you don't go there, you're not going to have a share to the world to come. All the baloney that these Jews sell, he buys. He cannot tell the difference between real positive and bad positive. Or he goes to one Chacham that knows a lot Torah, and he goes to another Chacham that knows Torah. But one is a faker and one is real. The real one, he doesn't make himself Eliyahu Hanavi. He doesn't pretend that he's Rabbi Akiva. No, I know a lot of Torah. I learned a lot in my life. I can give you great advice based on the detail that you give me, and that's it. I don't see in your forehead, and I don't see in your mezuzah who you are, and all this baloney that they make. If you give me $1 million, I'm going to make a special thing for you, Pidyon HaNefesh, we have a way. You don't have to come, you just send me your soul, we'll clean the soul for you, and you send it back FedEx. Don't worry, just send the money. Yeah, what's your name? What's the number of your house? What shoes you wore yesterday? What shoes you wore? I tell you, give me 5 minutes, I'll tell you what's going on here. Okay, I see a cloud in your house. We have to come, me and my student, and make a special tikkun in your house. It's going to be $18,000. You know, this nonsense. You know how many Jews fall into this garbage? That's called sfog, sponge. Whatever you spill, it takes. Not good. Then you have the mashpech. Everything goes out, which means, what does it mean? It's like a pipe. Goes in and goes out. Comes from this ear and goes right away from the other ear. Good, bad, doesn't matter. Anyway, it goes out, all of it. He doesn't know anything. 20 years is around. You ask him after 20 years on Shabbat table, give us a 5 minutes Dvar Torah. I don't know. I can tell you the new Ferrari who came out. I can tell you the new company that made a lot of money yesterday in Wall Street, but Torah, it's not my territory. That's called mashpech. Meshameret, that cleans, like I told you before, gets the wine, separate between the wine and all the garbage. What's special about the meshameret? Same way, it takes the main thing and get rid of all the garbage. That's the special net of the grapes. This person is the same. He hears, he knows what part of the lecture is real and what part is nonsense. Right away, no, oh, that's good, that's halakha, that's real, that's real, that's real, that's baloney. They made it up. That's not true. You have to know. You have to be very clever, because a lot of people, they give beautiful lectures. The question is if it's real or they made it up or their cult made it up. It's not a part of Judaism. Sometimes they make it up, all kinds of things. You got to be very careful. Then the last thing is napa. Napa cleans the flowers. What's wrong with the napa? The flower goes down and the garbage stays. From everything he hears, the only things he gets is the garbage. You teach him Gemara, you teach him Halacha. Not, Rabbi, it's not exciting. I want Kabbalah. Where? Dr. Berg. You know, over there, I'm going with Christine and my dog. We sit over there. Very nice, you know, it's very interesting, that guy. When are you doing it? On Shabbat. How the rabbi come? What do you mean? He comes with his car. On Shabbat. And me and Christine are loving it so much. You know, they gave us a red stripe, you know, that we put around our hand. It's very special. You know, yesterday had a birthday. All the movie star came to Israel to say Mazal Tov. I got lucky, you know, I have good friends. You all will share a special suite in Gehenom, in hell. Him and all his friends that got fooled by him. Yes, that's the truth. I have a whole lecture about Kabbalah in my website. Go and listen to it and understand that it's all baloney over there. That's called napa. Get the bad out and get rid of the good. So the idea in life is always whatever you see, whatever you hear, take the positive, get rid of the negative. Even a goy says something. He said a lot of garbage. but 2 or 3 sentences that I say it's real, no problem, take it out, get rid of that. That's what Rabbi Meir did with his Rebbe, Elisha ben Avuya. He was a big chacham, and what happened in the end? He became a kofer, tzduki. He was riding on a horse on Shabbat. Rabbi Meir runs after him, and everything he hears, Motzei Shabbat, he writes. So the chachamim came to Rabbi Meir and said, don't you know you're not allowed to learn Torah from a wicked person? He's not a tzaddik, he's wicked, he went against the law. So he told him, it's like a pomegranate. I take the seeds, the good art, and I get rid of all the peel. I know what to get from him, what not to get. So there's Rabbi Meir Baal HaNes. We are not in his level to know. So you got to be careful who we're learning from. Now, before we finish, time is always short. We have 3 more minutes, so let's just finish this Mishnah. Every love that is dependable, it depends on something, it's temporary. Once that something is dismissed, the love cancels. A girl wants to marry a guy because he drives a fancy car. What happened? Tomorrow the car is gone, the love is gone with it. There was never love. Her love was to the car. There's no car, no connection between them. He likes her because she has a very special body, rabbi. You know, all day she works out. Very good. 5 years later, after 2 or 3 babies, she's not what she was 7 years ago. Rabbi, it's not what I meant 7 years ago. Here, look at the picture. You want me to love her? Of course not. He loved her for that. As soon as it's gone, the love disappeared because there was never love. It was a physical connection. It's very, very common in our time. 99% out of relationship is based on what you give me and what I give you. It pays for me or it doesn't pay for me. You go in a profile of all the girls today when they come to the shidduchim. Almost all of them. I want a guy that he can be supportive, can support the house, can afford to buy a house, can afford to buy a car, can afford to buy me this, can afford to buy me this. So why do you need him? Why do you need him? There's other ways to make money. What do you need a husband for? What is this? Marriage is, what can I get from you? I participated once in a meeting between a guy and a girl that are about to get married. And the guy, since he was already divorced with a very bitter divorce, and he lost millions of dollars and 7 years of tortures, so he wanted to sign an agreement with this girl. It's called prenuptial agreement. I'll give you X amount of money and leave me alone if we ever get divorced. And for every year we be married, I'll give you extra. 1 year you get this, 5 years you get this, 10 years you get this. You should have seen the negotiation that took place over there. I almost vomit. I tell you, I never believed that in my lifetime I will see such a thing. A girl is standing in front of a guy that she's supposed to marry in a month and tell him, I really, mamash literally, no other ways to describe it, I don't need you, you're garbage for me. I only came for your money. So give me the money, if not, there's nothing. I'm not going to take it. And he said, but I'm giving you a lot of money. You keep all the jewelry, you keep this. No. What's going to happen in 20 years? What's going to be my security? Even a crook has to hide his intention. You know, I mean, it's mamash face to face. I don't need you. I told one guy that went on a date, I told him, you don't have to go on a date. I knew the girl. I said, don't go on a date. Just send your car with your driver. So what do you mean? So anyway, she's not going to marry you. She just want to see what car you have. What an ugly world. Then they wonder why 70% get divorced within 4 years. They've never been married. It was on an illusion. There's no marriage here. No marriage. No marriage. So, every love that is not dependable, it's not depend on anything, will never be cancelled. Why? I married you for who you are. You're a righteous woman. I'm a righteous man. I thought that you're good for me spiritually. You thought that I'm good for you. Whether we be rich, whether we be poor, healthy, sick, skinny, heavy, whatever, it's not going to make any difference because my connection with you was on a real connection. The rest is irrelevant. We rich today, tomorrow we won't. It doesn't matter. You're skinny today, in 5 years you won't. Doesn't matter. The love will never die. The opposite, with the years it's like wine. It gets better with the years. You know? That's how you know. You see, after 20 years that a religious couple is married, sometimes you see they are more in love 20 years later. You know, you don't see it by the goyim or by the chilonim. 3 hours after the marriage, their love begins to die. Not 3 years. 3 hours. It's the first fight already in a hotel. What's happened? He doesn't let me finish a sentence. Tomorrow morning she runs to her father, whatever. So, the Gemara gives an example. Amnon and Tamar made sins together. That's Ahava shetluya badavar. He liked her beauty and he ended up destroying them. And real love, Ahavat David veYonatan. 2 bodies, 2 friends willing to die one for each other. Yonatan goes against his father, King Shaul, that runs after King David to kill him. Yonatan is like an inside spy. Why? He knows David is right. And he's risking his own life to protect David HaMelech. That's called, it's like 2 friends that sometimes, one king, he wanted to kill a Jew. So they take the Jew to execution, and his friend says, my friend wants to go and say goodbye to his family, to his wife, children for the last time. But don't worry, you can let him go, keep me instead of him. By tomorrow, 5 o'clock, he'll be back, you do the execution tomorrow. Because they ask the people before they execute him, what's the last request you have? So he said, I just want to go to say to my wife that I'm going to get killed. She doesn't even know where I am. So I said, okay, you can stay instead of him. But tomorrow you gotta be here by 5. If not, we kill your friend and then we start searching for you. So no problem. So the friends come in, they put him in jail. 4:59, his friend's not showing up. Everyone's waiting. Wow, what a nerve he has not to show up. 5 o'clock, your friend didn't come, my friend. Get ready. They put the rope around his head. Just a second, they're about to push him from the chair. His friend screamed, here I am, 5:05. So the king says, I'm very sorry, we have to kill him. That was the deal. You don't show up, we kill him. So he said, no, kill me. So the other guy said, no, don't kill him. You're right, you have to kill me. Usually it's the opposite. Kill him, it's not fair. I was only your collateral, Why, I'm innocent. No, kill me. The other guy, no, it's not fair. You have to kill me. So the king is looking like this. Kill me. So the king said, wait a minute, something is not right here. So he said to them, I want to speak to you in my office. They went inside and this. After the king saw what friendship they have, he said, you know what, not only I don't kill you, I want to be your buddy also. Can you put me in your group? I never had a friend like this in my whole life. Kill me, no, kill me. He got it. So, this is what it says. Birtzot Hashem darkei ish gam oivav yashlim imo. When Hashem is satisfied from you, your enemies will bow down to you. You think they can touch you? Can only hurt you when you're guilty. If you clean, not the cop can pull you over, not your wife can make you problems, nothing. You have problems, that means you're guilty of something. Remember this. Every disagreement that is not for the sake of heaven, ego, jealousy, gossip, why he should get the job? He's much better, it's not fair, it's racism, he goes to the news, he makes a lot of noise, I want justice, baloney. Your ego got hurt, so you want to kill him. That's called machloket shelo leshem shamayim. Fight against him, fight against her. This machlokot has no blessing in them. They will bring tragedies. Nothing good. En sofa litkayem. You won't achieve anything. You can talk against him for 10 years, gossip, you go against him, you write against him, you force people not to be his friend. It won't help you. In the end, you will drown and he will come up. Guarantee. What? But every machloket l'shem shamayim, every argument for the sake of heaven, for the truth, not for my stomach or for my pocket, for the truth. That's the truth. I don't want mixed dancing there. I care about Hashem, not for me, they hurt me, they didn't invite me, no. For the truth. Machloket like this, disagreement like this is blessed. And you'll be successful sooner or later, you will be. What? Like Machloket Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel. Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel had many strong arguments. Sometimes the student went into fist fights. Fist fights! Rabbis hitting each other for the truth of the Gemara. Now they hate each other. Tomorrow they marry their children. But when they were in the yeshiva, Ritcha deoraita, the fire of the Torah, they throw chairs. No, that's the truth. This is the halacha. Why? I care what Hashem really meant. That's called machloket l'shem shamayim. Machloket she'ena l'shem shamayim, which disagreement is not for the sake of heaven. Korach, that convinced 250 rabbis to come with him against Moshe. What's going on with you? Didn't you see Hashem nominate Moshe and Moshe speaks in the name of Hashem? But it's ego. What? Moshe is the king, his brother Aaron is the high priest, Kohen, and we are nothing. I'm richer than them. I know Torah just as much as them. I'm from the same tribe. I'm also from Shevet Levi. They got everything, I got nothing. But don't you see that Hashem is with them? Hashem decided you get nothing. Be quiet. No, I'll go to the end. The end, you'll be buried. Until today he stands in hell and scream, Moshe emet v'torato emet. That was his punishment. Kol hamzaket harabim, someone who influenced the public to make mitzvot. Teaching them Torah, making them religious, making them a shlom bayit in their house, teaching them manners, etc., etc. En chet ba'al yado. Hashem protects him from all kinds of tests that he will fail. Protects him, special protection. Why? If he will become wicked by not passing certain tests, and his students that became religious will be in a higher level than him, they go to heaven and he goes to hell, is disrespect for the Torah. That the rabbi goes to hell and his students go to heaven. So Hashem has to protect him extra. He's about to fall with his woman, police all of a sudden showed up. Which would not happen to somebody else, right? It was about to make a scene, it was about to rob a bank, it was about whatever you want. Hashem sends a special guard to ruin his plan. He thinks, bad luck. Then Hashem says, I send Eliyahu Navi to send you. Why? Why? Because you do for others, I want to do for you. Kol hamachtit harabim, someone who influenced the public to make scenes. Come, I make a mixed party, disco, I'm a DJ. I made a new bad movie. Come buy my movie. Come to see me playing soccer on Shabbat in a stadium. Come with your car. All these things that they do. All these athletes and sports and all kinds of people, musicians, whatever you want to call it. En maspikim beyado la'asot tshuva. When he come one day to make tshuva, repentance, it will be almost impossible for him. Why? You made so many Jews not religious. You want to be a tzaddik now? They all go to hell and you go to heaven? Not so fast. Not so fast, my friend. You're going to have to go through a lot of efforts and agony. Maybe you'll have the merits to make tshuva. Moshe zikat harabim. Moshe influenced millions to make tshuva, the nation of Israel. Moshe zacha vezikat harabim, zchut harabim tluya beyado. Everything that they did goes to Moshe's account. Why? שנאמר צדקת השם עשה ומשפטיו עם ישראל. Yerovam ben Navat was also knowledgeable in Torah. He was a king, but he made the Jews worship idols because of his ego. He didn't want them to go to Yerushalayim to see Rechavam sitting on a chair of the king. So he told them, you don't have to go to Beit HaMikdash. You stay here, we put two idols, you worship over there. Yerovam chata v'ichti et ha'acherim. He made other make sins. All their sins goes to his account. שנאמר על חטות ירובעם בן נבט אשר חטא ואשר החטיא את ישראל. Everything that he's chata, he committed sins, goes to his account. Everything that he made them make sins also goes to his account. We have to decide if we want to be on this side and on the next side. Okay, we couldn't finish the perek. I did my best to try to finish it. We have a few more mishnayot, another 10-15 minutes we'll be able to finish the chapter. So Bezrat Hashem next week we'll be able to finish the 5th chapter and start the last chapter of Pirkei Avot. Thank you very much for coming. We'll see you next Monday. Thank you.